Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we are diving into a story that has sparked outrage in Pretoria, disbelief among civil society, and confusion across global headlines. A bold, controversial plan, allegedly backed by none other than former US President Donald Trump, aims to fly 50 Afrikaners out of South Africa to the United States under the guise of refugee status. Yes, you heard that right. According to reports and public statements, this so-called humanitarian mission is being sold as an act of compassion toward white South Africans who Trump and his allies claim are victims of systemic persecution. But South Africa's government is having none of it. And in today's video, we unpack why this plan has been labeled offensive, misleading, and potentially dangerous, not just for our international relations, but also for our national unity. Let's start with the facts. The South African government, through the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, known as DIRCO, has issued a strong statement condemning the proposed evacuation of Afrikaners. Officials called it deeply offensive and an affront to South Africa's democratic institutions and social cohesion. In short, they are furious. According to DIRCO, there is no legitimate refugee basis for the individuals Trump is trying to fly out. South Africa is not at war. There is no genocide. There is no legal or political persecution that justifies refugee status under international law. The government insists that all South Africans, regardless of race or background, are protected by the Constitution, one of the most progressive in the world. And yet, Trump's camp continues to push a different narrative, one that taps into long-standing right-wing conspiracies about white genocide in South Africa. During a recent rally in Florida, Trump described the plan as a humanitarian mission, claiming that white South Africans, particularly farmers, are under siege and being systematically oppressed. This echoes a sentiment he voiced as president in 2018, when he tweeted about a large-scale killings of farmers, a claim widely debunked at the time. But make no mistake, this isn't just about rhetoric. This move has real political consequences. For starters, it misrepresents the complexity of crime and inequality in South Africa. Violent crime affects all communities, black, white, colored, Indian, because the issue is structural, driven by poverty, unemployment, and weak policing. To frame white South Africans, particularly a select group of Afrikaners, as refugees, is not only misleading, it also erases the daily struggles of millions of black South Africans who face far worse conditions and far fewer resources. Civil society organizations have slammed the plan for what it is, a political stunt designed to fan racial flames ahead of the 2024 US election cycle. They warn that labeling a relatively privileged minority as refugees sets a dangerous precedent and trivializes the global refugee crisis, where people are actually fleeing war zones, ethnic cleansing, and political persecution. It's also worth noting that South Africans themselves have taken to social media in droves to reject this narrative. Under hashtags like #QuestionThinkAct and #DSTV403, people are pushing back, calling for unity and rejecting the idea that fleeing to the US is the answer. Many argue that the solution lies in fixing South Africa, not running from it, and certainly not misrepresenting its issues to a foreign power with its own political agenda. But there's a deeper issue here, and that's sovereignty. What we are witnessing is not just misinformation. It's an act of political interference. For a former US president to orchestrate the extraction of citizens from a foreign country under false pretenses is a diplomatic insult. It undermines South Africa's autonomy, and it puts pressure on a bilateral relationship that's already walking a tightrope over trade, military neutrality in global conflicts, and governance styles. DIRCO has confirmed that it has lodged a formal protest through diplomatic channels. Pretoria is demanding an explanation from Washington, and observers are watching closely to see how the Biden administration responds. Will they distance themselves from Trump's stunt? Or will they remain silent, wary of entering the crossfire of US domestic politics? Meanwhile, Back home, this move threatens to rekindle old racial wounds. South Africa is a nation still dealing with the legacy of apartheid. Efforts to build a non-racial democracy are ongoing, fragile, imperfect, but crucial. Stunts like this derail that progress. They allow bad faith actors to exploit unresolved pain and create the illusion of persecution where there is none. And let's be clear, this doesn't mean denying that white South Africans, like everyone else, experience hardship. It means being honest about the root causes. Crime in South Africa is not race-specific. The same lawlessness that affects white farmers also impacts poor township residents, informal workers, and the urban unemployed. Selectively framing the experiences of one group as grounds for international intervention is dishonest, divisive, and inflammatory. So where do we go from here? As South Africans, we need to be vigilant about how our narrative is being shaped abroad. We must challenge falsehoods, whether they come from former presidents or social media bots. We must also hold our own government accountable, not just in responding to foreign interference, but in addressing the very real social issues that give rise to these misrepresentations: inequality, unemployment, corruption, and crime. This story is not just about Trump or 50 Afrikaners. It's about how global politics manipulates local realities. It's about resisting the temptation to divide ourselves along racial lines. And it's about choosing unity, not because everything is perfect, but because we understand the cost of tearing ourselves apart. Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Trump's plan is dangerous or justified? What does this mean for South Africa's international reputation? Let us know. Until then, stay informed, stay united, and as always, see you next time.